That's the center. How
How
many times I was a kid, I used to go over here, and I used to spin. I wasn't there. I used to spin and throw stones at the trains going by.
There's a train going by.
There you go.
Oh, here.
You got the same one?
I'm excited. I'm excited.
You cannot go through here. We're going through here.
Sam, do you recognize anything? It's changed a lot, huh?
Well, this no, it's missing. What's missing? There was a big jail over there. There was a jailhouse here. There was a streetcar station. All the streetcars. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know that before. Shire geschmuggelt Fleisch von Donner. Shire geschmuggelt Fleisch mit der Streetcar.
That doesn't have the little ends on the side.
There's a streetcar going too. Come on.
This, we have a garden. There's basketball and volleyball. All here. All of that stuff was volleyball and basketball.
They had this.
Yes, there was a fenced in.
Here?
What's that?
Nothing was renewed here.
Not this. No, but no, there's a garden. But you see from here, way back to the other end, belongs to the school. Not only that, 100% were all Jewish children. There was no non-Jewish.
Was this a Jewish school?
Yes, but this wasn't a cheder. That was a Jewish public school.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't a cheder, it was a public.
I wish I could go. I wonder if I can go upstairs.
Let's see.
I really want to go upstairs.
Leo, look at the gate. Was the gate like? Was that new?
There was a gate. No, it's closed.
Turn around.
There's somebody before I go in. I don't want to go in like this.
Oh, no.
You'll be a citizen, so what? You know what? We could not go in with shoes to the school. You have to take it. Shut now.
Stand, I'll take your picture.
Hey,
Ready?
Howard, look at this. Benching.
Take a picture.
Let me ask the guy down there that shovels the coal.
Graduate. Were you a graduate at least, or
That's
just
where I'm at.
attendance?
It's kosher. Got to it's not. You go in. You can pick a towel. Just walk in and white out.
O, teraz są wakacje, nie? Teraz są wakacje.
Tam jest szatnia, to na dworze.
Yes.
Say, go and see the Shatnya. Go and see. What will you see?
That's all right. Let him
Let him see, let him look. That's what he came for.
That's right. That's what he
Yeah.
Here, when we had lunch, we had to march this hallway. And soon,
This hallway look the same?
we had this is the same. Then we ate lunch, had one sandwich,
What is this building now?
marched all the way around.
What's this building now?
It's a school.
Is it a school?
Yes. I will show you the class I went to, okay? Sam went to school on the second floor. On the second floor. I show you. On Wilf Klasse na Gusha. Ja mojem,
Cicho, 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 nie tak głośno.
Nie ma nikogo.
ja jestem,
Tylko z koleżanką.
On jest, how do you say excited? On jest, he's all excited.
child.
Nostalgia.
We marched around. Yeah, we go upstairs and show you my class.
Bishop, you change?
How many days did you skip?
This is my class. I want to say, I have a This is the class I went.
You know, Leon, I beg your pardon. I always thought you had no class, but now I can see you do.
Not only that, I have a scarf on my head that swung on the windows, and I fell down.
You never show up.
Tutaj to jest, ja byłem w tym klasie.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on, I show you why you're not allowed to go with the shoes. Come on, I show you. See how nice it was, though?
Oh, is this the way it goes?
Yeah, don't go in it.
Yeah, we had to go with slippers in here. Hey, don't go inside, you cannot go inside.
Don't go in there. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
wait, here, get a video. Where's the video, man? Here, let Sammy show.
Look at that floor. Look at that.
Same type of floor.
I swung on that window and I cracked my head on from the radiator.
And that was the, how big was it?
Tam było mały hospital
How
tutaj,
big
tak?
is the class? Let me
A nie ma już.
He wants to sleep, go ahead and sleep.
Take the floor. Don't go walk in. Don't walk in, they just...
No, I'm not walking in. I just wanted to see how big of a class you had. And where the benches you had?
Well, benches, wait, let me give you the benches are here, but that's not the same benches.
A potem pierwszy klas.
The blackboards, no, the blackboards were different. The blackboards were black papers, we moved them up and down.
That is a stabilizer.
So I'm not school, are you dressed now?
Just to go
Let me show you, the chemistry is upstairs. The chemistry, then we go downstairs, I'll show you where they had that.
Listen. Lunchtime, okay? Śniadanie. We walk around, I hear this.
What was it? This way?
Yeah, we go around.
Byłem wszystko w porządku po dwa, my jedli
Śniadanie.
śniadanie
A
i
to była kuchnia.
tam jest, tam
Jest też kuchnia.
O, jest kuchnia tam? But poor people,
Dzieci nie miały too much
kitchen time today.
the kitchen
We had to walk because you don't want to want it. So we went to prison. We had no hair. I saw the picture of it.
A kto kierownik tego?
Nie ma też dyrektorki, nie ma.
Owen, come on upstairs. I lost my teenage life here. In 1939, it stopped me not from going to the school here. I went to class there. I had my math class there. I'll show you something else. There's a bathroom at the very end. Oh my God. They still have to say, this is the 7th grade. I want to show you the bathrooms. Hey guys, we didn't have to go outside. Hey guys, that's the bathroom.
Looks the same?
Huh? The same bathrooms.
It looks the same?
Yeah. You say to read on the tile. The tile isn't the same. The same bathroom. They stopped me. Hey guys, this is it. This is it. No change. You know, this, the Jews obey Jesus. I also want to show you, I'm going to find out, Ochronka, where there's a Jewish orphanage. If you think this is nice, even if it's so old, I'll show you.
Is the shul still around?
The shul is gone when I was here, but I want to go back there. I want to go downstairs. Was a orphanage, a Jewish orphanage home before the war. This place was a Jewish orphanage before the war for boys and girls. Not only in 1939, 1940, we started sending Jews here to send out to different areas. Sometimes to Auschwitz, sometimes to work camps.
But they collected all the Jews?
They collected here all the Jews during the war.
Yes, they took, well, he already said it.
They had the selections and took them in
Say it
here.
again.
I don't want you to, but I thought them it picks up.
Good.
In this building, when one time they closed down one street where all the Jews were living, and what they done with the police, and they brought them up to this building, and then the building they stayed all overnight. Then they made a selection who can go to work. The rest of them, like older people, sick people, they took them to Auschwitz.
He says Litka and Tupper came here.
Wait a minute. She said something.
They brought Hitler, Michelangelo, that were here. They shipped off to camp from here.
What's this place now?
This is some kind
Yeah,
of.
it's still the same. You see, it says that.
What does sign say? That you got
What it says here, and this place was a
Orphanage home for children.
And during the occupation,
They send away.
No. Here they brought them in together. All the Jews were brought in here, and from here they were sent out to Auschwitz.
Not just in 43,
Doesn't take
any
long.
year.
I'm going to the community.
Wait, we're going slowly. Relax. He's fixing the truck. What's the rush? I also want to show you where I worked for the Gestapo. Come in the yard, but make sure you get the building as well. I want to talk about this building. It's a very important fact. Since I was allowed to walk and outside the ghetto because I worked for the Gestapo and Superpolizei, there were Jews brought here in the 40s. Women threw children down from the window to other to take the children away. This whole building. This was all here. They got them upstairs. These gates were not there. There was no gate there.
Heißen der vier von den Juden dort in der Lippe beständig gesucht, der Numen.
Ochonko.
No. I forgot his name.
What did they do with the children again?
They threw out the window to other people to take the children, small children,
Out of the top windows.
to save the children because they knew something is going to happen. We were surrounded only by Jewish police.
Oh, this place is.
There was no German police. This is not a ghetto. This was one central area when in 41 they brought him here. To other camps, elderly was shipped off to Auschwitz because we are only from Benjamin to Auschwitz maybe 40 kilometers. So what worry about it?
They threw the kids out the windows.
To anybody to catch it. So you see, that's a big building. This was not there, so forget that part. No. The yard was just an open yard.
What is it now?
Letka told me that somebody jumped from the window,
Oh, that's right here.
and they were not guarded by the Germans.
No, only by the Jewish police.
Why was that?
Why? That's them. I can
The
only tell
Jewish
you.
police didn't let them get out.
Oh, come on, Rapal. Where you come from?
They didn't let you out.
Well, I'll show you.
No,
I'll
I
show
know
you.
they didn't let you out, but some of them that they knew, they probably.
If they had a friend or relative of their own, they weren't here.
They were here. They were told, hide, because we're going to take that street and put them down here.
What you mean? All the people weren't deported?
Not
No,
at
not at
one
one time.
No.
Oh, they did that like in
Little by
stages.
little, little by little.
First they took the elderly, then they found
But
out.
this was the transit area. You
Yeah,
bring it
and
here,
all
then-
the orphans, I want to put this on a record, were shipped off to
I'll
Auschwitz.
show you
There
what
was
they put
no
in the
second
left.
chance. That was the first thing they did, to empty it to have room for it. There was beds and all that. The facilities, the bathrooms was not equipped for so many people. It was terrible. It was terrible.
Were you in here at all?
I was here. I used to come here because when I work, when we're going to go there, and working distance, I always come here. I had a pass. I could go
So
anywhere.
the Gestapo headquarters was down the street.
I'll show you. I'll show you where I work. This building where I work, this is where the Superpolizei and the Gestapo were here. As we go back inside, I want to show you the cages, the kitchen, and where people were shot.
Leon, this was the Gestapo room?
Yeah.
Advanced over here?
Let me show you something. They closed that up. This part was a basement to go down here. Here it was cells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was more cells in here. I was here at one time, and I was splashing water on myself, and they looked down, and I got the beating of my life.
Really?
Yes, these things.
Right around here, all around
Wait,
here.
the Gestapo had this building?
All this building here, these things, what you look like coal.
Yeah.
What they did, we had coals here. We shoveled coals. But when they brought him down and they want to shoot him, they had him face this way and shot him. He fell in. They never shot the guy on the front.
They
of
shot
his-
him right here?
Right in there, and he fell in. Then a couple Jews came with a two-wheel wagon, dumped him on, and hauled him away. All this that you see right here was the kitchen. They cooked there for the people, the soldiers who lived there. I wish I can go down and show you the cells, because this is a very, very fresh item in my head. This over there was the kitchen. Here where they cooked. I want to tell you something about this corner. This corner, from here to the very end, was the kennel. We had the dogs here. Here where I fed the dogs. Down the basement, I brought potatoes and all sort of things, vegetables downstairs. This is intact. This is the original thing where the Gestapo and the Superpolizei were.
For me, I think the best.
Great here.
Well, I'm saying if I was a Gestapo, I'd take the top building in town. I'd take
What?
it.
Was.
Huh?
One lady is here, she's naive.
Yes, they used to sing German song, the radio blasting out.
Out here?
When I want to show you something, how
Did
I...
you stay here?
Yes, I didn't live here. I worked 7 days a week. I want to tell you how I got wound up.
Did you witness a shooting?
Yes. I want to explain to you how it happened that I wound up in 1942 in Auschwitz. I happened to be around here, like this, and I was shoveling snow in February. I knew I was sitting. The truck was backed in. It was a near thing, was backed up. They brought him out from there and loaded him on a truck. One of the Gestapo told me to get on a truck. These people who were in there were not Jews. Most of them were non-Jews. They were Christians. These are people who were punished because they did various things against the German law. And here I walked. When he called me, I had to run. And I had to go on the truck. I didn't know where the truck was taking me. And within approximately an hour, I wound up in Auschwitz, which I did not know what Auschwitz was at that time. There, when I arrived with them, we had to wait approximately an hour and a half to get our hair off and bathe and tattoo the numbers. So I witnessed this part of it, history, that a lot of people that I saw being shot were Jews. There was a lot of Jews brought here, but they mostly were shot. They never went to any. They never shipped them off.
So how many? So
They brought him in. They didn't wait long. They shot him. Then somebody from the ghetto came. They called. They came with two-wheelers.
you say the doors were open.
The doors were open. They fell in.
The cold bit.
Yeah, we have called.
It is happening.
Here, look, this is chipped off too. Look, this is a
Look at these gauges. This is the only air they got. That's the only air. I was thrown into this particular cell many times. What?
They threw you into the cell?
Many times.
You're out getting some water and they saw you. And they
I saw me. I was talking to somebody.
You weren't allowed to get water?
Nothing. I was talking. Somebody to give a message, you know, and they caught me. They saw me mumbling, and they threw me down for a day.
This is the place you're talking.
Come on, guys. Come on.
Oh, God.
This is a toilet. This was the toilet here.
Oh, geez, this looks like it's chocolate.
Hey guys. Hey guys. Hey guys. This is a cell. This is, you're gonna have this is a cell. I have no light. Wait a minute. I should have a light somewhere. Wait. I have a light somewhere.
Did it look this bad?
Yes. This is one ball.
Probably smells better than it was.
It was, yes.
So
Cell somewhere.
It's probably a little further down.
You guys be careful. There's a step right here.
Is this how it looked?
here's this story that next to this. This is just here. Wow, this is dramatic.
A thing won't flash.
Okay, these are the cells. You can see the peepholes of each one of them. When I spoke about it, I said 7 to 8 cells, and I was right. It was 7 to 8 cells. Some of them upstairs didn't have the window. I also want to go back where the kitchen was. I want to go downstairs. Oh, my shoes are getting wet. Okay, so you see, can you imagine? This is the genuine. There was no decorating here. This is it. This is the walls. There was so much blood going on here, so much. When they brought them down from the Gestapo, they were dragged down. They didn't walk no more.
Should take a picture.
Horrible. Okay, thank you. This was women. On the right was all men, and as we go camp for camp, I'll show you where the gypsy camp was, where the lazarette was. We heading.
You know what the lazarette is?
Hospital.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to the ranch where we unloaded the people.
Sam, where are you?
They had to get off. The soldiers guided them to the crematorium or whatever. They stayed here, then they were taking them away. They did not go back with an empty train.
And the machine.
What do you mean they're taking them away?
Well, the soldiers came. The soldiers came with the people, but they didn't go with the train. Then a truck came or whatever they came. They left.
And they had machine guns on the hills?
All the time, you see, all the time was lit up this area. Okay, all these lights that you see was all the time lit up. Also, there is a red lights wherever every third light of that was a red light warning you that's electric wire. Like it didn't matter. It didn't matter to them, right? They didn't want you to touch and get electrocuted.
And it really was
This is the ramp. This was the ramp. Here, when we marched from the camp, we had to stay at the very end there. Up at the very end there. Hundreds of guys from the camp, when they get off the train, this is where they went. You see how big this is? You see how big that is? They had to get off the train. Sometimes the train came this way, sometimes the train came back in here, okay? And when the SS men came, they opened the doors. They opened the doors, they screamed, other roads! Other roads! That wasn't gravel. What was it just now? That wasn't gravel. What's that? It's cement.
This is where the collection took place.
This is the beginning. This is the beginning. When we get to the other end, I will give you more of a detail. People and children screaming and crying, and they start pulling away the children and the women separate, and elderly. And then we put them on the trucks, and I'll show you how they ship them to different crematoriums. You see, you can't see the crematorium from here. As we get closer, it will show you. See, this is all women's camp. This was all women's camp. Here, well, some of them were on the furnace, but also, was mostly when the trains came, sorted out, went here. They did not go to get bait there, this direction. They get bait when as we go straight ahead. That was for the ones who are living. Where? Oh, you still a crematorium there too, so it doesn't matter. It's still a crematorium here. Well, I'm asking you the nature, the whole philosophy, when the liquid stuff from not being the transport, this train came on this track. Way back there, his train was the only train which was a passenger train. His whole family was in his passenger train. Rumkowski company, Kleine Juden. And they put him on a truck and transport him to the gas chamber. That's it. That's it. They used to, we would go to it.
And he came in a regular train.
A passenger train. Whole family. The whole family. Let's go.
And here they went, here they...
You see why I wanted to come here first? It's just unbelievable. Listen here. Take your time now. Take your time. Kind of going through here to be gassed. All they went, men there and women here. They did not put through the same gate women and children and men.
Oh, they didn't?
No, 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 no. The split up was right there, and where the men went here, or children and women went the other side. They were never gassed together. So here is the path.
Outside, there's another gas chamber.
Yes, sir. Same identical. Howard. Hold on for a while. Let me show you how they marched. This wasn't here. They marched to the gas chamber. Hurry up. Here. Here. go in here, they undressed them down on the bottom. Underneath was a gas chamber. They gassed them downstairs, brought their bodies up, and put them in the ovens. I don't know how many ovens. The ovens were right
The
here.
gas chambers are destroyed, in other words.
Yes.
I saw a gas chamber over there in
I forget that.
They walk down those steps?
This is down there.
This is where they enter.
Listen to me. Here, listen to me. You walk down the steps down there.
That's where they start.
That's where it started.
and here are steps too.
Here they undressed them.
Here.
In here. This was close, okay?
Right, this was a...
Then they went on the bottom and put them in the room.
Here.
They gassed them on the bottom, in the basement. They had to bring the bodies up. And the ovens were facing, here, look at me. The ovens were facing on my right. The row of ovens on my right-hand side.
Where are where were the ovens? In that mess, not rubble.
On
No, okay.
In that mess here, in the rubble here?
top, upstairs. Now, the ovens, this is a hoop, and this is not the thing. Right here was a row of the ovens. 6, 7 ovens, I don't remember how many ovens. I also want to show you, if a group of people came of 10, or 5, or 7, and they wanted to get rid of them, I'm going to look for a piece of wall. There was a concrete wall somewhere. They shot him right outside.
Outside here.
Yes, outside, and then they brought him in to be cremated. There was a man from Bendine, and his wife, and a couple other people. His name was Wexelman.
Is that Wexelman who lives in Cincinnati related to
I don't know. They were shot. If I'm correct, I'm going to look for the piece of concrete wall that they shot him here.
Yeah, but actually the gas chamber.
See, it's forbidden to step on it. I will show you where the waiting is. But if you guys can look for there was a brick wall. Just all there was a brick wall. They shot him.
Let me ask you, this area over here, where was
That's all
it?
gas chamber.
This
It's all
is gas
coming
chamber
out.
here.
Yeah. They couldn't pack them all in. Now here, you
They
see.
packed plenty of them.
Yes, they did. You see steps here? These
Yeah.
original steps. They had so many dead bodies in 1944. But we are going to march all the way back to the other end there. There's a pit. They burned the bodies there. They couldn't burn them fast enough.
What are these steps to?
This is steps to go down. There was so many steps. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. People were going. They couldn't pack in.
So, I mean, this was an entryway also?
Yeah, they're going into the same area. This
That
picture
was-
here.
See the patches here?
This is it.
This is it.
Turn around and I'll take a picture.
Wait a minute, here.
Howard, turn around.
Hatches E.
Wow, he wants to take it?
No, don't take it.
What the hell is he going to take in that for?
That's why I'm shaking there. How do you do?
Nobody's taking it, don't worry. I'm not gonna tell you.
I'll tell you what. I'll take you to a cemetery. I'll dig it out for you. Approximately our August or September. I was here till 44 in October. They liquidated the sick people from the hospital. They
Where
brought-
was the hospital?
when we go around, I'll show you. When we go around, I'll show you where. And they liquidated all that. They knew where they were going because they were here inmates, and they brought them down here, the same path. And when they closed the door here, there was a door. We had no sound, nothing. It was completely silent. The next thing you could see within 15, 20 minutes that the chimney was blowing smoke and fire.
And you didn't hear the screams and
The screams until here. Until here. Once you cross in here, when everybody there, the door was closed. The silence was gone. We heard it all over the camp.
What did you hear all over?
Boy, screaming, crying.
Where, inside here?
The camp where we were.
Oh. I mean, when the doors were closed,
Didn't hear nothing. Silence.
I mean, they weren't dead immediately.
No, but silence.
How long did it take them to die, Leon?
And when did you hear the screams?
Before going through the door.
What they knew that they are going to
Yeah.
die.
I'm not talking about coming from the train. I'm talking about inmates after selection. When there was a selection, they
Oh,
knew
they
where they
knew
were
already.
going.
So they were screaming, crying here on the way here.
They were beating him to get him down.
Because they already knew what
Or
was
they
going
were
on
beating to get him down.
Oh,
People
yeah.
didn't want to get in there.
No, I will show you at the other gas chamber.
Here. What is
Once
this?
the door closed here, there was a wooden, thick door.
In other words, you couldn't hear any.
You didn't hear a sound.
It was hermetically closed.
Silence.
Silence.
Completely silence.
But there were plenty screams in there, I
Oh,
bet.
God. That's why I say all these walls, what they heard. See, this wasn't the gas chamber. This was the undressing.
Oh, this was the undressing.
Was
It wasn't enough. They wouldn't kill. They couldn't kill him with the clothes on.
No.
And who cleaned the clothes out later
Sonderkommando.
The Sonderkommando,
Came in
let
here.
me explain to you. The Sonderkommando brought all this clothes out. The Canada Commando, which I was, we hauled that clothes to the effecting command where we sorted them. If the camp needed clothes, men's clothes and women's clothes,
They
there
took
was
it from here.
it's no, a lot
From
from here.
Canada.
Also a lot what came from the transport. All good clothes, furs, jewelry, that was shipped off. When we got to the other area, I will explain to it. Wall would collapse eventually from the dirt pushing it.
From
They
what?
put these rods in to protect
Oh,
the
it's got
wall.
steel rods going through there. Was the brick showing? Is this the way it
Yeah,
was?
that's
The brick
exactly
was
what you
showing?
see here.
Okay.
These things.
Was this covered here?
No, as soon as you come out, it was open. Then you come down, it was closed.
Okay, so this
You
was an
didn't
open
see
area.
nothing except
Side.
what you see up the picture.
What is this path right?
What?
What you just said.
Well, this was purposely for the world to see and to demonstrate, to talk about it. This area.
This is for ceremonies.
For ceremonies only, also these poles. Let not anybody hallucinate that there were these poles were here for some
Well,
decoration.
this is where they put up
All the flags from all over the world.
Do they have a figure of how many people died here?
They're approximately saying, they're talking about 2.5 million.
Came through these gates.
Through the gate.
And mainly, what is it, 90% Jews? 80?
No, you can't go that high of a percentage. No. I want to tell you,
Who died here besides Jews?
the first people who died here, who were gassed, was Russian prisoners of war. In the thousands. That was the beginning, because for some reason they sent them immediately to gas shippers. There was no selection for them. Then later on, they started picking them out. They didn't send them to the gas station. I did not know of any prisoners of war here. This is part of the camp. Yeah. Well, they didn't eliminate. See, the poles are still preserved. There was no barracks here. At the gas chamber, there was no barracks. Nobody lived here. I envied that because it had its freedom, it could fly over the camp, even had a short life.
Were there many birds that flew into the camp?
Very seldom we saw birds. That's why even flies or anything, we didn't see any of that. They were very immaculate about, they were scared of disease. So they were really up to make sure. When people came from that area, or workers or prisoners came from that area, went here to be bathed, tattooed, cut their hair. Here. This is the zone, not zonde. Zone. This area, you came through a door, there's big doors. this over there, you went in there, there's a big hall. You can't get in there, the doors are locked. You in this big place there where the windows are, you undress completely nude. You put your clothes by the wall. And you went through here. You went through here. And here they stayed the barbers, cut your hair. In this section they tattooed your number. Then you went in to be bathed. Bathed. So there was a bar soap which says I-R-I-F, RIF. They translated it Reine Yiddische Zeit, but I don't know. It was a brown bar soap. So when they got through here,
Is that human soap?
I don't know. Now, this is how they processed. They marched them here. Now, I marched from the camp through here, through this gate, and here to be shaved. I didn't need to be. Huh? No, I came in Auschwitz. I didn't come first to Birkenau.
So you didn't come here?
I wasn't processed here, but I worked here. I had to come once a week after work. We marched right here. We shaved our hair, whatever. Went through. Our clothes was taken away. They was disinfected. Went through the other side.
In other words, you didn't have lice here.
No lice. You once a week after work. The big transport come in. You can see the signs. You can see the barracks. And this is the way it was. And we're going to go that path.
You should come here and become a guide because he's wonderful. He tells you everything.
Now, Henry, you asked me a question. What happened when the gas chambers and the cantonment filled? This barrack, and this barrack. These to pack the people in. There was no beds, no nothing. They closed the door. When they had room for gassing and cremating, they opened this and marched them to the other gas chamber.
Okay, wait. Is this right here, this street
This
here?
is no. This as we're gonna go through this path. I want to show you which barrack I was.
No, but this, where they put the people in to be gassed.
Oh, here, this one, and this one. 1, 2, and 3. There you go. There you go.
One, yeah. Smart. Oh, they got numbers on.
So what happened is these people waited to be gassed.
Probably all these.
No. Wait, I tell you about the other stuff. Here is the brick. These are the brick wall floor. A boy came from a concentration camp, and they unloaded him. When I heard that somebody came, I was looking for my brother. So I ran over there because after they get shaved, and I wanted to see if every time anybody came from a different camp, I looked for my brother. There was a name Yankelo from Bendin. They shaved him hair. He asked me, how is it going to go? I said, don't worry about it. They're going to send you back to a quarantine, and you'll be in camp. But they made a mistake. They're supposed to gas him, but they took him from the camp at night and brought him over here, and they gassed him.
Oh, there's another gas chamber.
Oh,
over
yes. I want to show you which barrack I stayed. I also want to show you I got 25 lashes for throwing something over the fence.
23 minutes already into this.
What are we looking for, Leon?
We're going to see if we can find a faucet. Also, I want to show the barrack that I slept when I worked for Canada. Canada Commando.
Here's the gas chamber.
What does Canada mean?
I don't know. I don't know what Canada stands for.
I think this is supposed to be the easy job. Somebody knows. Somebody did name it. Come here. You're going to Canada.
Right.
Okay.
I think that's what it meant. Like
Yeah.
Canada. Oh, here I'm going to the best place.
The Germans didn't call it Canada.
This here, as you know, are spoons, forks. They serve the fork spoons over here. What is that? Spoons and forks, knives. No, this is from Castillo. We didn't have no spoons. This was Canada then it called itself the end of 40, July, they call it effective. Barrack I lived. This is the barrack I lived. And this is here, this part, where the blockheads that lived right here was enclosed. I lived over there.
What number is it?
11.
It existed
Over here on
here.
the third bunker. There was a bunk beds like this on both sides.
Nice place. They have wood floors?
Did you have accommodations there too?
What's that?
Did you have accommodations there too?
This is the accommodation. This is only place we slept.
It was a nice hotel here.
I think it was better than the Hilton. But I want to tell you what happened to me personally. I didn't know, they told me my father was somewhere and nobody gave me a clear, because I know my mother's gone, that's part. I didn't know about my brother, but they told me my father is in this part over the fence, what they call it the Lazarette, the hospital. We will go around about that. I will explain.
What, in the-
So
in the-
I had a gold piece. I threw it over the fence for the other guy who told me he couldn't find my father. So bring my father to the fence. My father died because he had swollen feet.
Where'd you?
Now, when we get close to the fence, it was a big
Right.
ditch, and all the oil and stuff was always there, a certain amount. It wasn't far, filled high, but it stank terrible. But we got so used to it, it didn't matter. Here, I had a little story back. There was a Greek girl, she worked in this barrack. She was the most beautiful girl I ever saw. I liked her so much, I used to bring her chocolates. I used to give her sardines, but we couldn't converse. She was much younger than I, and she worked there, and there was a faucet of water that I was making. I couldn't go talk to her, so I always pretended I get a pot of water. When they caught me throw this piece, the gold piece over the fence,
They caught you doing that?
they caught me, and they put me here, and they gave me 25 lashes with a bamboo stick.
What is that? Is that one of the lights over the...
This is the lights of the fence.
Where'd you get the gold
All
piece
this
at?
area, all these areas you see here,
This one.
And then
loading.
Canada.
all had assigned of 5 guys, put it on a wagon, went all the way back there to the end, made a right turn where the gate is, and I'll show you which crematorium I saw every day, every other day I was there. And I will give you a description what I witnessed, first-hand witness. No fantasy. I don't have enough time, or you guys don't have enough time to tell you details what is the process, but I give you a rough idea. Ahead of me.
Where'd you get the gold piece to throw over the fence?
The 20 gold piece. When we went through the clothing, we have learned a tactic. We found tobacco also. It was sewn in up here in the
Tobacco was sewn in?
Also, tobacco was sewn. We found in a blanket, not a blanket. It's feathers, what they call it, piajana.
Pillows.
Not pillows.
Comforter.
It was feathers. Was all we found is gold pieces, tobacco, cigarettes, a lot of gold under here. Also the buttons. Any button that was covered with material, we sliced it. We looked for it. We found gold pieces there in the buttons.
Well, I was surprised they didn't shoot you for that.
They didn't know.
Well, the fact is, he just said they caught him.
They
They
caught
caught
me
him
throwing
throwing
over
it.
the fence.
Something. Didn't know what.
No, they didn't know what. Now I want to tell you something, guys. You want to look for gold? I'll show you where I buried gold. Yo, go there, that son of a gun
Ronnie's
of
gotta
fight.
leave. Come back in a few hours and pick Ronnie.
That's why we're really here, Leon. Look for gold.
Right. You better come with the bulldozer.
with that
Shovel and the mine detector.
Yeah. The
Albert's
gold
got
on
one.
the end
Metal
of that
detector.
corner there, on the
Yeah, wow.
outside. I buried gold, diamonds.
You're kidding.
No, I'm serious.
It could be still there.
It's there, but who's gonna dig and where? That's 60 years ago, 55 years ago.
God, no. So
Maybe somebody picked it up. I'm not joking.
Gold and diamonds.
Yeah, but I didn't bury it for my own purpose. I didn't want to give it to the Germans. That's the only reason I buried it.
Whatever, it's here.
It's a California gold rush all over again.
So it was buried.
somebody's not
If you
walking
go
around
around,
here with
if you
it.
go around where the women were, they used to have a habit. They also used to go around in the other barracks, not where they worked, and buried it outside. So I used to go around where they buried. I unburied it and put it back here.
I can't. That's hard for me to believe. I mean, here
It's
after
hard
all,
for you to
didn't
believe,
know where
huh?
you didn't know where this might be.
I don't know. It was outside on the back bottom where I was.
Imagine
put
going
up
over
a
there right
stick
now,
there.
taking a
Well, I
couple.
should have had a thing. I'm surprised people don't come here with the thing.
They're not allowed to come.
Why didn't you break
How do
it?
you,
You can see they dug it out. See? Somebody dug it out. See, they dug it already here.
Is that about the approximate spot?
Yeah, that's why I stayed right on this side. You can see somebody dug it.
Should have come right back after the war.
yeah, shit.
You know, I dreamt I found the gold pieces.
You dreamt it when? When? Last night?
Oh, that's not
That dog.
bullshit.
Well, do go ahead, dig. I don't know. I'm not going to stay here and
You
dig.
mean somewhere around in here?
Yeah, somewhere this part.
What'd you have to dig with?
Oh, I had a piece of metal. I had from a pop. Yeah. This is my initials.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
He was a friend because when I brought when I went to bathe there, they
Did you eat the chocolate?
damn right.
Let's see the other side.
Now you know what a star is, so get it that way. Now you get the number this way. Hey, I didn't have a Tissot watch then. Who had sex were the black ancestors. They had, they were allowed to go around where the women were, and the couples, certain couples, mostly German couples, because they had access anywhere in the camp. They got a permit to go to visit, and the Germans knew what they're going after, and they didn't care. No Jews went to have sex. These were Germans and Poles who had connections, They didn't come here because they were robbers, they were thieves. I didn't see many political prisoners. I seen black and green triangles and red triangles. That's the only 3 triangles I have known on this camp. D camp, I don't want to tell you here, it's going to confuse you. Okay, I was in D camp. We're going to go from here. Before I came here to stay, there were about a half a dozen Jehovah's Witnesses that I didn't know why they came there. They said that your religious purpose, but I didn't know what Jehovah stands for or what it was, and they tried to explain to me. They wanted to release them here, provided they will give up their belief of Jehovah's. They did not. They did not. They did not. They didn't send them to the gas chamber. They didn't go through. They didn't go through selections. They went through the same torment I did. They cut her hair. She had a bullet and had blood. They did not let her go through this way. She worked right here, and she went to this crematorium by herself because they did not realize that she had a bullet in her head. Oh, so we work right here. We go to the gas chamber.
The revolt.
The roof was burned. The gas chamber was intact, but they couldn't. With the roof open, the gas didn't go through.
Gas chamber?
This is a gas chamber and crematorium.
This is it. October 7th, 1940.
This was the gas chamber. This area was the gas chamber. The pellets of gas was thrown in on top. Okay. When they burned the bodies outside, they pulled them out with a leather strap from a belt, tied them up by their legs, arms, neck, and yanked them out here. They brought them over here, which they pulled the teeth out. Then there is a pit. There was a pit approximately from here all the way back to here. Here were the bodies laid right here. The children were thrown on top. There was a small pit right here that was that wide, but deeper than this pit. And there was a man with a bucket and a stick, taking the oil and poured it over the bodies.
That's what it says, the ashes.
I don't need to read that. Then what happened is, once the ashes were brought down, all the bodies were burned, the ashes were sifted through, right here. So as you look at it, this is the gas chamber. Now give me the candles. lighting a candle for the millions of people who died. I'm also lighting a candle because my mother and sister died here. I came here every day to brought the trash, to put it here. We dumped it here, and they put it on top of the bodies to burn faster.
They said that guy was here too.
Yeah, he probably was a fucking couple. You don't have the red one, do you?
Maybe you knew that guy.
Probably was a couple. You was a couple.
I need you to say I'm gonna rachman.
Achenu b'nei Yisrael hakedoshim, hakedoshim v'yatehorim, shenaflu b'dei hurosim hanatzim, v'nishbechot umam. Are machnos hashemot b'Yeropa. Shenei herigu, Shenei herigu v'nisrifu, shenisrifu v'nikberu, v'nishlechu chayim.
ויצרוי רחיים, ויצרוי רחיים, אסני שמוסום, אדוני הוא נחלוסום, וינוחו בשלום על משכבו ונאמר אמן.
Want them, first of all, they were the completely burned out people, you know.
They
They,
made the pictures themselves, the Germans didn't they?
so they didn't want, the people were so tired, worn out, you know, from doing this every day, that they brought fresh blood in here. You see, and a lot of people didn't know what the job is all about until they came here.
So their job was to pull the people
They
out.
pull out and burn them out. This was 1944. Before 1944, there was no pit here. Now, mind you, this pit is huge with a lot of ashes here. A lot of ashes.
An uprising here.
The uprising is the other one.
So what did they do? They burned what? What did they do? They burned, the uprising consisted of what? They killed any Germans?
No, I think they did something there, but I wasn't there.
From what I read, they killed
when
several.
that uprising was,
They threw them right in the crematorium.
you know, you see the uprising, when the
Couple of them
uprising
took them
was,
and threw 'em right in the crematorium.
when the
No
uprising,
gas chamber. They
when
burned them to
uprising
death.
was, I was right there on the other side of the fence. I lived right there.
Oh, right where you were shot
Yeah,
at.
sure.
Now wait a minute.
Well,
they
you
threw
were
them in
aware of the whole thing
crematorium.
going on.
If the
We didn't know what
crematorium
happened
wasn't,
there. We didn't know.
the fire had to be going.
Yes, the roof burned. We thought that the crematorium caught on fire. We didn't know any of that sort of any, because we were hustled into the barracks and closed the door. They come here, they dumped the people there. Right here. In the back there was an entrance where you get undressed. So they did not see that part. Then this is, there you go. This is there. They did not see this part. See? They came in here, got undressed in there, and went through the process to the gas chamber.
But there was too many. They undressed them
in
outside,
the
and then they
summertime,
sent them in here.
When the Hungarian transport come, they did not have enough room to undress them there. They gassed them and brought them out there. They burned the bodies out there. That crematorium couldn't burn fast enough.
Look at how they set the scene on the gas chamber.
Chamber, when they pulled them out to be cremated outside, their mouths, every one of them had mouths open and the eyes were open and glazed. All of them.
That was your biggest fear of going
That
there.
was my fear. Are they choking? The only thing I can say, they were grasping for air. And I was so scared when the selection came that they are going to be sending me here. I didn't think much of the other gas chamber because we didn't see the gas chamber. We had to go down. These two I saw every day. So that was something that always scared me there. There was a young boy with me at the Canada Commando who saved my life. I saw people coming and I thought it was, and somehow I wanted to go forward to them, and he grabbed my arm and he says, you know, if you're going to go tell him, you are going to join them. About a month later, there was a selection. He had a father and another brother. And he saw, when you go through a selection, if you stay in camp, they didn't write your number down. But if they select you for dying, all they did, they write your number down. Next morning, there was an appel, and they called these numbers out. He was so desperate, he wanted his father to come with him, so that he gave him a choice to go. I don't know why he did it. It's very unusual. He gave him a choice, waving his hand to go with his father or go there. He didn't mean to go to his father. He says he wants his father. He stretched his hand out. He says he want to go with his father. His name was written down, and he died in this gas chamber. When the selections came, most of the people they did use this for big transports. This is for small transports. Once this was filled out, they used this as an excess. This gate. Okay, this is D camp. This was all men camp. I worked for Canada Commando over there, not Canada, Königsgraben, before I got to Canada Commando. I fell asleep in a shanty there, and they accused me that I was going to run away. They brought me to this gate. This is where the SS had the barrack, right here in front of the gate. On the right side of the gate, inside, was an orchestra playing when we went to work and when we came home. On this side.
Why were they playing music?
That I don't know. They made me go in between two fences. There was two fences here. I stayed overnight, and they put me in a Strafkommando S car. Now, if you look at the camp here, you have to come closer to the gate. You will see these chimneys. These chimneys are the kitchen on both sides. The water towers, you see those tanks? Those tanks were on top of that. That was a water tower. They hung people from that side of the water tower. On my left side was the water tower. We had to all stay over here. The kitchen was right there. If you see those chimneys, that was all the kitchen. They came with a truck. They put the rope on by the water tower, and hundreds of people died. They made sure that they saw. We had to see them hung.
They hanged him right in front of the water tower.
On the water tower.
On the water tower.
We see those cement blocks, the cement type.
Yeah.
That's where they hung him. The reason they hung him, they didn't take him to the gas chamber, is to teach us a lesson. If they violated certain things, that's why they hung him there. I was hoping I can get through there, but they did not.
Leon, that other gate's open.
Which are they?
This one over here.
Yeah, but I won't be able to get into this camp.
Yes, you will. No?
Yeah, I can? Okay, these are extra or not, I don't know.
They didn't have windows.
Yes. Oh, yes, I will tell you about the windows once we get into an open door.
So what were Leon, when you marched, what did they have you do?
When I march to the door?
Yeah.
It's in, out! And we walk to the other side. Once the whole group of people went through, it's in, up. We put the hats back on.
You had your wooden shoes?
The shoes were in the bottom wood, and the top was leather.
So it made a sound like a march.
Yeah, we were grinding all right. The only bad thing it was, in the wintertime, it was horrendous, because what happened is the snow starts sticking on the wood, then all of a sudden your foot twists.
Yeah. Tell me, you have plenty shoes from the people here?
Yes, sir. I welcome you to my house. This is 1998. I want to give you a description of this whole block, all the blocks of all Birkenau was like. For an example, when you come inside, you see this section right here.
Yeah.
This was enclosed, and there was a door. There was one bed, two beds. The Blockhälster and the assistant Blockhälster. This was a man who did the reports of that. Also, two beds, two little bunk beds. This was enclosed with one door. From here on in, you see these planks from here to here. You go dead center, and you see that was bunk beds, 3 high. From here to the very end, we had approximately from 10 people at one night per row. There's 3 rows.
Yeah.
Some of them died 2 or 3 at the night, so there wasn't always the same amount of people staying there. Sometimes it was 6 people alive.
They died. They had enough to eat here, didn't they? People were getting enough to eat.
I want to give the menu, what we had in Auschwitz-Birkenau, the menu. The menu of the year of your life. Morning, you get a ladle of artificial coffee or artificial tea. Dinner, noon, you got a ladle of soup, a liquid soup. I haven't found a potato. They call it in German Mohlreben soup. Mohlreben soup. We had it all the time, that mold leaving soup. At night, before we got together, we got a piece of pica, they called it, pica bread, and a ladle of artificial coffee. No cream, no sugar, no spoon. We did not have spoons or forks or knives, not that we needed. This was a menu 7 days a week, as long as you could live. You look at these windows on top. These windows were opened in the summertime to get some air. Once you become a good organizer, a knowledgeable person in this block or blocks in this camp, there was a way of surviving. Everybody asked me, how did I learn to survive? You learn by watching, by doing. So what happened is, in the wintertime, I always made sure if somebody died on top, I want to be on top because the heat, the warm, was warmer on top. In the summertime, it was so unbearable to stay on top because the heat was frying through, so I slept on the bottom. So I knew of doing...
Yeah, but how did you manage, how did people survive with this kind of
They didn't survive. That was very little left.
How did you survive?
I was a child. I was a young boy.
Yeah, but how did you eat? The food that you got wasn't enough.
No, but before I got to Canada Commando, I was working with Russian prisoners of war. They, here, not this block, but in this camp, and where I was called, the commander I was assigned for was Königsgraben. We dug trench for water drainage of the field so they can grow potatoes. I ate night crawlers by the hundred.
What did you eat?
Night crawlers, the ones you go fishing with.
Worms.
Worms.
You ate that?
By the hundreds. I wouldn't hesitate to pick one up now and eat it because I had no problem with it. I was told it was very nourishing. Now I want to talk to you. Now I want to talk to you about.
So that nourished you?
Sure. I wasn't hungry. I ate 50, 60 at a time.
They were alive.
Oh no! I took them to the butcher and I had them slaughtered. Now I want to talk to you about here. As you see, on one side and on the other side, that was the heating facility for this block. Now, how did it work? Over here, it was approximately 3 feet high, and it was the circulation from the heat, from the chimney from one to the other, kept this warm. What kind of products we had to warm it up? I worked with the Russians, prisoners of war. We went out in the fields, we dug out from big trees, they're not the tree, but the end of the tree, the roots, and we brought for each, while I was working for the Straf Commander, I was punished, that was my job. We brought these big roots. For each block, we dumped a half a dozen to a dozen. So they brought this in and let it dry outside during the summer. In the wintertime, only when the block Elster said, okay, how do you recognize a block Elster? He had a red armband, and it would say block 1 or block 2 or block 3. He was in charge, a red. How do you know from a Lager Elster? Not Lager 4, Lager Elster, who is an inmate. He had a black armband, it says Lager Elster. How do you recognize a couple? He had a yellow band, which said couple.
Couples were Jewish?
What does couple mean?
A couple is the guy in charge of the group of people he was involved. Then it was Vorarbeiter. He was a yellow strip here. This is foreman. All right, here is the situation. At 9 o'clock, these doors were shut. You were not allowed to go to the latrine. So how did you go to the latrine? You had to go all the way back here. You had to get all back here, and here was 50-gallon barrels with wooden handles that you'd empty yourself. You could not get out to the bathroom at night. These doors were closed. And then they took prisoners from in there. They had to log this before they appel up to the place that they dumped that stuff out there. This was a door. Now you see these windows, they have a little hook that you can pull it down to open it.
72 people in a corral.
Also, they have feather beds.
Feather beds in here, now I can understand.
No, on the board.
Leon,
it's a blanket.
How many people on a bed again?
It's
9 to
between,
12.
it started up at 12, there's a lot of transport, but the next day, 2 or 3 people died. There was always dying. See, I lived, in the wintertime, I lived on top, it was warm. On the bottom, I snuck down, and when somebody died, where I slept in the bottom was cooler.
And how many years did you do this again?
I've done it from 42 to October 1944.
I don't know, I'm gonna stay at a different hotel next year.
Now,
What is this, what's the idea of this thing?
oh, this is the heat, that's what I tried to explain to you.
Oh, this,
This penetrates the heat, but you are not allowed to sit on it or put any clothes on.
oh, 'cause, yeah.
Well, what happened if you sat on it? You took this would be hot.
It was warm, it wasn't hot, but that kept, the brick got real warm.
Right.
That's the
Sit on
temperature.
it.
Why do they care about keeping you warm anyway?
Picture the Constitution.
What kept me warm?
Why do they even want to bother keeping the prisoners warm?
That I have no idea. But
Why
it
did you
was,
sit on it?
we were not allowed to sit on
Who's gonna see? The
it.
door.
The blockheads,
Yeah,
the foreman,
What does he care?
he can kill you
Why?
because you were not allowed.
Cockle moon.
Tell him that, have you seen it?
What difference does it make?
Don't pay me
I'm
today.
not hurting anything.
I'm not going to work, don't pay me. I'm taking a day off, I'm going to sick pay today.
Let me say to you this, we can all wise ass if you want. When you were in my situation, all you want to do is live. I was a situation, Harry, there was a situation once when I was here, somebody got punished. They stuck him in here. No fire, if the thing was cold, they stuck him in like this, and they gave him 25.
Oh, you're kidding.
No. They beat, this was not an necessity, that was the blockheadster.
The Jew himself.
Probably a Jew himself, but not necessarily being a Jew. Crawl in there. You stuck your body in, and you got 25. Oh, I wanna, while we're here, hey guys, while we are here, I wanna show you how to select, Mengele made a selection. You don't have this on tape, you got to have it, okay? Here everybody had to get undressed. All the Jews had to stay in, non-Jews had to go out. Now, how the selection worked was simple. We all had to go through here, all the way around the other side, till you came down to this side. I'm gonna demonstrate you how I did it.
Wait a minute, let me turn on, hold on, let me turn on my
And we
thing.
all naked, we had to all go around the stove right here, through here.
You want to know what smart's like?
Now, what is this for, Leon?
This was for selection.
So what did you do?
We went to here.
Yeah.
We all had to face here, and as we moved, 2, 3 in a row, we had to go forward, forward, forward. One by one, scroll through here, 2 or 3, we came here, I'm naked now, I don't have a hat on, I'm completely naked. We came here, there was the SS, there was the man from the Schreibstube, there was the Blockelster and the Lagerführer. You went here, you looked at him, you turned around, and you looked at him again. That minute, he decided what to do.
Well, he's
If now he decided for me to go, I'm gonna stay here, he made me go there. So I went over there. The man who was picked to die, he marked him this way. He wrote this number down. The man wrote this number down. He told him to go there.
Just stay in the bunker? or-
For the time being, just stay there. Then they all left. They went to the next block. These people had the same ration that evening, and then in the morning was upheld, outside, and they called the numbers.
They knew they were gonna die.
Well, once the numbers written down, they knew because they were inmates. They were not people coming from a transport.
Does that mean that's where the expression came, your number's up?
Your number is up? Yeah, I guess so. So, and upheld, they called the numbers till they got all the numbers. A truck came backed up, loaded them a truck, and they could have dispatched them to either crematorium or gas chamber. And I want to tell you something what happened to me. I was so hungry, I didn't have any food yet, Well, as they were going to the truck, and they had this piece of pica, so I said to one, give me this bread, you're gonna die anyway. And he says, I'm gonna die, at least I have a piece of bread on my stomach, and he didn't give it to me. That's correct. That was 1944. The selections was, in 1943, was more stronger than the 1944. This, Mengele came here in 1943, but before the selections for Mengele came was a different kind of selections. The selection was like, if you were have to go through the process of being selected, and if you were weak, they wrote you down, they got rid of. What Mengele did, when the transport came, the transport started coming, they had to liquidate more people. So it didn't matter what you physically. He just didn't like the looks of you, and he wrote your number down.
Especially because it's 44, because they had so many coming through.
That's what the different process of killing. So mind you, this between 12, 8, 7, 6 people, 5 people per bunk. You were not allowed to stand up and urinate. You had to sit down. Also, it was a white powder here that they put it in. It was burning my eyes. A disinfection. They disinfected with a white powder. When I was in the SCAR, we moved the stuff from here outside on a barrel. We take that out by barrel. You can imagine the barracks all the way from the first down coming to sit down.
What is this for? Flush the toilet.
Yeah, right. This was, but when we had to empty it out, that's the only access we have to go in and take it out.
Was there straw in there?
What's that?
Was there straw laid on the bottom?
Straw?
Yeah.
What kind of straw?
I mean, was
No
there?
toilet paper. This was like, this is how you sat. Urinate, you were not allowed to stand.
How many were in here at this time?
Count how many seats.
So people sit there,
And
that
all the
many
seats were
people?
filled?
All the seats were filled.
Is it
all-
Looked like shit.
Where was the magazine rack?
The magazine was as you come into the door.
Somebody this way, you know?
Yeah.
Very
All right,
nice.
this side, you see this part and this part, that's where running water was running from a pipe.
What was the idea, just to clean this out?
I don't drink a lot of liquids. Now, I already went to the doctor, they always wonder why I don't drink liquid. I have a cup of coffee at 2 in the morning, and I'm done. Why? I've made my system not to use the water because dysentery, because dying here. This goes back a long time. I don't dehydrate. My body is not requesting it needs water. So you see, I don't go around with you guys and have a bottle of water. You don't see me have a bottle of water, you don't see me drink a bottle of water. I can sit down and have a bottle of beer. It's not because I'm thirsty, because I like alcohol. I'm an alcoholic. I belong to the
So
triple.
every
I belong to
temple,
the AAA.
every temple was taken up when you went?
Almost.
What happens if you couldn't find the empty temple?
You shut in your pants.
So you get up, buddy, hurry up.
The beach, if they should, you shit your pants, or?
Well, the trouble is this, you're gonna wear it.
Leon? Leon, did you ever see that documentary called Kitty? Where the lady goes through Auschwitz and
Why can't you go
she had a red pot that she always carried with her.
Oh, that was a bowl that you get the soup for.
Yeah.
The coffee, yes, everyone had a red bowl.
Now she said she made in it, she ate out of it.
We ate, you washed, you drank, you did everything possible. Women, most of the time, what I thought did, washed also their personal things in the bowl.
Hey,
That
you're on
bowl
my
was
seat,
it was a
man.
nice
You
size,
give no
I would say about
respect.
10-inch diameter round.
Ronnie, I'll get up.
So everybody had one.
Huh?
Everybody had that.
That's my
Because
favorite
you don't have that, you
spot.
don't
That's
get the
spot
soup.
I always sit
For
on.
some reason, I believe you'd be like that.
That's my spot.
It didn't, this only thing was terrible to come here was that white powder that was burning my eyes. You couldn't sit long. And if you sit too long, this white powder that kept pouring in, burned your skin. You know? I don't know what they call it.
Leon, I heard it was prestigious to come out of here and clean this stuff out because you had warm buckets full of stuff, and nobody would bother you because you had 2 buckets full.
Well, let me tell you, there was more than once I was thrown in there to clean it out when I was in the Strafkommando.
You actually went inside this
They
thing?
they made me jump in and take it, and we did. And then they took us to the bathhouse and
In Schindler's List, they had that little boy. He hid in one of these.
Well, he tried to save his life, so that's what.
So this was the size of it?
No, I don't know what Schindler's List, the size of it. This is for human beings to dispose of the stuff.
But did people hide in it?
No, there was no hiding here, because if one person's number was missing, you could stay here a week outside till you croak, till they found that guy. There was no such thing as hiding here.
Hey, just hiding in here and somebody come here and shoot you in the face.
You have really no place to hide
Look
here.
at a gas chamber.
When there was election, these doors were shut.
When they did this election, they said they took your number down. Were people screaming, shouting, or most of them?
Well,
They resigned to their fate?
The fate, I don't know, but there was more. There's no one to go to tell, please,